how to pay you. But once this is all figured out, if you're willing...
You're on, kid. I reckon you're good for the dough. Incidentally, that just dropped you to the bottom of the suspect list. Might as well start earning my salary.
How can we help, Mr. Davis?
Well, first I'd like to question everyone as to their whereabouts when the murder happened.
Establish everyone's alibi.
Yeah, I'd also like to question the staff as to whether they saw or heard anything during the murder.
Clues.
You got it. Clues, motives, alibis. That's what a detective has to work with. The motives in this case are obvious. The other two elements aren't yet. But hopefully by the time I'm finished, they will be.
Who would you like to start with, Mr. Davis?
Since you're paying the freight, call me Mike. Miss Thompson, do you mind being first?
I'm awfully tired, but if I have to...
You don't have to, Paula. None of us do.
What do you mean, dear?
I mean, Davis isn't a police officer. We don't have to give him the time of day.
That's right, Cousin Jordan. You don't. But why would you refuse to cooperate unless you had something to hide?
Don't start accusing me of murder unless you can prove it, Simon.
Hey, look, man. Let's just get one thing straight.
Simon has a point. Do you want to tell the police everyone cooperated except you?
All right. I'll answer your stupid questions. But I'm going to take Mother upstairs to lay down. She's getting up in years and she needs a rest.
Why, thank you, Jordan. I'm not a screwed chicken anymore, but I'm not Mrs. Methuselah either.
Don't get excited. Are you okay? Do you need your digitalis?
Well, no. But if I did, there's probably a few around somewhere. I had a little accident with my pill bottle this morning.
All right, let's go. You can call when you're ready for us.
Catherine, or I assume you want to question everyone in private. Catherine, I will head up to my room. I want to read over the old will since it will remain the official one.
Sure, Lois. Excuse us.
Mike, I'd like to know if it'd be okay if I stayed here during the questionings. I think it'd give me a better picture about what happened here at Starkweather Mansion.
You're the boss. I'm particularly interested in what happened between the time Mr. Starkweather announced his new will and the time we found the body.
About how long was that?
Several hours, I suppose. Well, Mrs. Thompson, did you notice anything in that time frame that might help us?
Well, I was awfully upset when Great Uncle Simon announced his new will, as you might well imagine. I mean, I can understand if you want to clone somebody like Tom Cruise or Zac Efron. I mean, Great Uncle Simon, no offense, Cousin Simon, but your grandfather was not a very nice person. I couldn't sleep, so I was down by the kitchen when I overheard Minerva and that cute little maid Nancy talking.
What's the matter with you, girl? You haven't heard a word I said.
Sorry, Minerva. I'm just so confused.
About what? Has that no good Sam Jordan been bothering you again?
Jordan? I mean, Mr. Starkweather? What makes you think that?
Well, when I walked in the other room, you two were all lovey-dovey and stuff. What was he saying to you?
I think he wanted me to...
To do something you didn't want to do?
Yes, but it's not what you're thinking.
I swear, that boy tries anything, I'll cut him to size.
Minerva, no. He's not interested in me. I saw him with Miss Collins, and...
I see how it is. You lose your million, he goes for the Collins girl. Straight to the money.
He proposed to her, but she turned him down.
Good for her. Serves him right, that lazy butt.
Don't call him that.
You're hung up on him, aren't you? Oh, Nancy, don't be a fool. He just used you and tossed you aside like dozens of other girls I know of.
Well, maybe he's ready to settle down. If Mr. Starkweather hadn't changed his will, he'd be free to...
Free to do what?
Nothing. If we're done, I'd like to leave now.
Go on. Nancy,
Yes, Minerva?
lock your door.
Yes, ma'am.
Excuse me. That little scene was a flashback. It showed a conversation Nancy overheard, or Paula overheard before the murder. The other character stories, well, portions of them, will be shown in flashback too. I just wanted to make sure you understood that.
Governor really has asked for it.
So tell me, Mrs. Trent, is there anything suspicious you noticed tonight?
Suspicious? I suppose you called Tony a gunner on the house suspicious, even though Mr. Starkweather wasn't shot to death.
A gun?
Besides
Who's got a gun?
Besides me?
Polly Thompson, that's who.
claiming she's a regular Annie Oakley. She even mentioned how easy it'd be for someone to come through those doors and kill Mr. Starkweather.
Did she now?
Ask her yourself.
Anything else?
I did happen to overhear a rather odd conversation between Mr. Starkweather and Rufus. I was just going upstairs to distribute candles to everyone in case of a power outage, which came in very useful, as you know. When I was about to turn to the west corridor when I saw Mrs. Starkweather at the far end, near the stairs.
Oh dear, do I have enough?
Miss Starkweather?
Rufus, you scared me out of the years in a row!
That's okay, ma'am. At our age, we do all our growing sideways.
I certainly hope not. I certainly hope not. What are you doing with that TV? It does not look portable.
It is now. I bought it from the guest room. They ain't used.
Whatever for?
See, I ain't sleepy, so I thought I'd watch some television. But the TV in my room was all messed up. The color, I mean. Everybody on every dad-lane channel is green. Hannah Montana is green. Barack Obama is green. And even the Smurfs are green. And they're both blue. It looks like every station started Kermit the Frog.
Oh, that's just terrible. Barack Obama. How disconcerting.
You can say that again. Whatever it means. Then breath mints. I wouldn't mind if you. I can still taste the sauerkraut Minerva served for dinner today.
No, you mustn't take any of these, Rufus. These are for me, not for you. If you could take one of these, it could kill you.
In that case, I'll pass. You better be careful with those. Somebody could eat too many and keel over.
That's entirely possible.
Yeah, what they put on the death certificate. Cause of death. Bad breath.
Rufus, this isn't a laughing matter. I need to be careful with these. You see, I need every single one of them.
Rufus had an axe in the house?
Yes, I had instructed him to chop some firewood earlier.
I'm surprised you trust him with an axe.
Personally, I wouldn't trust him with a butter knife. I was simply relaying Mr. Starkweather's instructions.
Was there anything else of interest you noticed?
Just one. Earlier tonight, I noticed Master George at the door to Mr. Starkweather's room. He seemed somewhat furtive, though. I had a feeling he was about to enter when Mrs. Withers came out. It was apparent that her unexpected appearance startled him.
Well, what do you want?
I was going to check on Great Uncle Simon.
No need. That's what I'm paid for.
How is he?
Still reading, if that's what you're wondering.
How much time do you think he has left?
Let's just say he better not start reading any long novels or any short stories either, for that matter.
But you think he'll make it through the night?
I think he'll keep himself reading long enough to sign that new will. That is what you're wanting to know, isn't it?
Miss Withers, you misjudge me.
Really? You know, I think you, just about like everyone else in this house, would love to see Mr. Starkweather die before morning.
Including you. $1 million is a fortune. A lot of people would kill for that amount of money.
Forget it. As Mr. Starkweather's nurse, I'd be the prime suspect if Mr. Starkweather's death appeared to be anything but by natural causes.
Suspecting and proving are two very different things, Miss Withers.
I am going to forget you said that. Good night, Jordan.
Yes, Jordan did imply that I was in a position to end Mr. Starkweather's life in what would appear to be by natural causes. I assume Benson has also told you that I refused.
He did, but you could have changed your mind.
What? You killed him with a blood pressure cuff? That she wouldn't have appeared
be by natural causes.
I agree. The manner in which he was murdered makes no sense.
Yeah, seems as if the killers fought to beat our faces.
Why would he do that?
That's a good question. Miss Withers, if you can think of a likely suspect, who would it be?
Off the record, that Thompson girl, she's too goody-goody for my taste. Those Southern girls sure can pour on the charm when they want to. But even Scarlett O'Hara was a little ruthless when you get down to it.
Well, we've been told Cousin Paula has a gun.
See what I mean? I dare say that both she and Jordan Starkweather are after Mr. Starkweather's money, and they would love to see him drop dead tonight. I was listening to their conversation earlier. It was right after Miss Van Dyke's announcement about the new will. I was in the corridor, and they couldn't see me.
Well, what are we going to do?
Do? What can we do? It's out of our hands.
Don't be such a wimp, Cousin Jordan. That money rightfully belongs to us. There's got to be a way to get it.
Maybe we can have the new will broken if we have Great Uncle Simon declared insane?
I've thought of that, but it won't work. Maybe if cloning was just a wild idea, we could. But it isn't. It's been done. We'd lose the case.
Yeah, and probably spend the pittance of our inheritance on the lawyers.
Like that Miss Van Zandt, she...
What is it?
I'm thinking, if you can't beat him, join him.
Huh?
I just thought of a way to make that Miss Van Zandt lady let me on her team.
What is it?
Fend for yourself, Jordan.
If you can't beat him. Ah, yeah. Now where would Cap be?
It's true. Jordan did suggest that we get married. It wasn't what you call a romantic proposal. It was more like a business proposition.
Well, you were going to have access to billions. What did Jordan Starkweather have to offer you?
Himself, I guess. In my opinion, that fortune hunter wouldn't be worth 2 cents.
So you did turn him down.
Well, Jordan's attractive in a sleazy sort of way, but any woman who married him would be a fool. And believe me, Mike, I'm no fool.
I knew that from the time we started working together.
Yeah, but you were smart enough to volunteer to carry the child.
Once Mr. Starkweather had made up his mind to clone himself, nothing was going to change it. He would have found a surrogate mother elsewhere. So, it might as well have been me.
I understand everything, you know. It's just the whole idea of the thing was kind of creepy.
You're a lot nicer about it than the other heirs were.
For example,
Paula, for one. She hadn't given up hope of getting her hands on Mr. Starkweather's money. I was in Lois's room when Paula came and asked her out into the corridor. Lois went out. They didn't close the door all the way, so I couldn't help but overhear their conversation.
We're very busy, Miss Thompson. We're very busy, Miss Thompson.
Preparing that new will.
Yes.
Miss Van Zandt, you're a lawyer. Are you sure this cloning business is legal? Haven't lawyers been disbarred before?
The cloning procedure is being done in Belgium, as we said. Our laws don't apply there.
What about ethics? Haven't lawyers been disbarred before for practices that are unethical, if not illegal?
What's your point?
I want in on the deal. You can pay me from the baby's trust fund or whatever to be the baby's nanny. I don't care what you call the position. If you don't, I'll be forced to report you to the Bar Association.
Let me give you a little free legal advice, Miss Thompson. In the first place, if you make any accusations against me where the cloning procedure is completed successfully, I'll sue you for the $50,000 you're due to receive and everything else you own. And I'll get it. In the second place, once the baby is on its way, I plan to close down my office. I shall devote all my time to Kathy and the young child. Then it wouldn't bother me in the least if I should be disbarred. You don't have to be a lawyer to administer an estate. Anyone can do it.
Oh,
So you see, young lady, your threats are meaningless. In fact, as an officer of court, I should report your feeble attempt of extortion to the police.
I wasn't
Shut
trying.
it. Take your silly southern self out of my sight, and I might be willing to forget about it.
All right, I'll go, you lawyer.
Excuse me?
Yes, Mrs. Trent?
I found what was left of the Christmas candles I stored away. I thought it might be a good idea to pass them out in case of a power failure.
That's very thoughtful. Thank you. I'll take one for Kathy as well.
Miss Thompson?
All right, I'm going to my room. There's something I need to get.
What's up with her?
Let's just say she's a poor loser. Miss Thompson played her ace, and I trumped it in a manner of speaking. I'll take this to Kathy.
As I remember, Rufus, Miss Collins screamed when she saw the body, and you came running in the front door. What were you doing outside?
Was I outside? Yeah, I guess it was. I remember now. I was getting a new TV.
We heard why, Rufus.
Did?
Everyone on your TV was green, right?
Yeah, looked like the frickin' Martian planet. Anyways, when I hooked up the news antenna, everything was woolly like a whirly worm. You know what I mean? But anyways, I went out to the antenna. I tried to turn it around to get a better picture.
Wait, you were on the roof?
Wouldn't do much good to put it on the basement, would it? I was getting out the tall ladder when I heard the old gal scream bloody murder. Murder is bloody.
Did you see or hear anything outside?
Let's see now. I saw an owl and heard a bunch of bullfrogs.
I meant humans, Rufus.
Oh, well, I did see Mr. Jordan outside on the patio before the old gal screamed. Anyway, don't know how he's doing out there.
Well, did you notice anyone talking about the new will earlier?
Who wasn't? Minerva and old Bensonhurst didn't talk about much else. They was going on about it in the kitchen.
What were they saying?
That it weren't fair. That they worked hard for Mr. Starkweather all these years, and that they should have got their millions. Me, I didn't care much. I figured 50,000 would buy me a big screen TV. May I get me two now?
Bensonhurst and Minerva?
Oh yeah. The more and more they talked, the more Minerva got mad. And boy, that woman got a temper. She was about to storm into Mr. Starkweather's room and give him a piece of her mind.
You mustn't go in there, Minerva.
And who's gonna stop me?
I will, if necessary.
You and whose army?
I agree with you that we are wronged, but a confrontation is not the answer.
Oh yeah? Then what is?
Have patience. Maybe he won't sign it.
We should live so long.
No, Minerva. He should live so long.
So, Mr. Starkweather, what were you doing outside?
Just getting a breath of fresh air. Anything wrong with that?
Not if you remained outside.
What are you saying?
Well, Miss Withers opened the window a couple of inches for Mr. Starkweather to let in some fresh air. Anyone could have slipped in and...
Are you accusing me of killing Great Uncle Simon?
Calm down. I'm not accusing anybody. Yet.